January transfer window is always a time when teams try to save, change, sustain their season by bringing in some much needed fresh talent, goals, tackling or whatever they need to get better. However, this desperation can often lead teams to making some terrible scouting choices. Here are the worst January transfers for the top 6 clubs. Andy Carroll. When Liverpool looked to fill the Fernando Torres size hole in their attacking lineup after he went to Chelsea for £50 million, few people thought it would be filled by Andy doesn't take football serious enough Carroll. The fact that Liverpool were willing to spend £35 million on Carroll only meant that either the rest of us were blind to Carroll's blindingly brilliant future, or Liverpool had more money than sense, which seems more likely the latter. Carroll only scored 11 goals in 55 appearances. That's £3 million per goal. With that said, he did help Liverpool win the League Cup. So the question is, was the League Cup worth £35 million to Liverpool fans? Let me know in the comments. Fernando Torres was the truth when he wore a red Liverpool shirt. However, when he moved from Liverpool in 2011, despite coming back from injuries, people still thought he could live up to the £50 million price tag that Chelsea paid. However, with only 45 goals and 172 appearances, he cost Chelsea more than £1 million per goal. Torres became a meme, and his numerous one-on-one misses made it seem like the real Fernando Torres was actually stuck in the sunken place, and Chelsea had been signed a fake, #GetOut. The only reason Torres isn't #1 in the list of bad transfers in January is because he helped Chelsea win the Champions League and the Europa League. The question is, were those cup goals priceless to Chelsea, or would another striker have been even better and helped them win even more? Let me know in the comments. Arsenal haven't had a lot of success signing players in January. Back when Arsenal were in the Champions League, it was hard to find a player in January that was good enough and wasn't already a Champions League club, i.e. not cup-tied. This has led Arsenal to sometimes try to be more creative in their scouting, so they look to Russia and an unknown Swede. Kallstrom. A lot of you will be like, who? But Arsenal fans will remember in 2014 when we signed Kallstrom, the Swedish midfielder from Spartak Moscow, on loan. The issue wasn't just that nobody had ever heard of him, it was also that fans then found out that he had a broken back and he wouldn't even be able to play until the 25th of March. Only Arsenal would sign a player that isn't even capable of playing when they need him. However, even though he only made 4 appearances, one of them was in a semi-final against Wigan in the FA Cup where he scored one of the winning penalties. Considering Arsenal didn't pay any money for him, maybe that goal was worth his wages and the ridicule we all got from our so-called friends on social media. Let me know in the comments. Ever since Manchester City essentially gained unlimited funds in the transfer market, they've been buying all the players they could get their hands on, from Robinho to Tevez to Aguero to Wilfried Bony. Obviously, some of them went on to be pretty successful for the club and others not so much. Example, Wilfried Bony was one of the players who didn't exactly have the best career at Manchester City. He looked like a boss when he was playing for Swansea, and at Swansea he scored 35 goals in 70 appearances. He had even managed to score the winning goal to knock out Manchester United out of the FA Cup at Old Trafford, so that's a pretty decent goal scoring record. So everyone pointed at Bony and basically thought he's going to be a success at City. However, this was not the case. Despite his £25 million fee in 2014, Bony went on to score only 8 goals in 35 appearances, and in the middle of 2015 season he contracted malaria. So needless to say, both Bony and Manchester City probably regret that signing. Sometimes players are great players, but not for certain teams. He seems to be one of those players. Let us know your thoughts whether Bony should have gone to a different team or just stayed at Swansea. Gilberto's name won't be ringing around White Hart Lane anytime soon, and nor can he expect a statue in his honour, even though he does have the honour of being Tottenham's first Brazilian player. They paid just over £2 million for Gilberto, who I think actually they only bought because he sounded like Gilberto Silva, who plays for Arsenal. Shots fired. It's always a bad sign if the player gets injured in the first month when he joins a club. When Gilberto signed in January 2008, an injury prevented him from playing until March. Gilberto made his debut against PSV Eindhoven in the UEFA Cup tie. Sadly, his impact was pretty terrible. He was dispossessed by Jefferson Farhan, who went on to score the winning goal in which Tottenham lost that game. Tottenham terminated Gilberto's contract after he made just 7 Premier League appearances. He did score 1 goal Yet it has to be said, despite him featuring in some of Spurs' worst teams ever, Gilberto actually played 35 times for Brazil, including twice in the 2010 World Cup. So maybe it wasn't that he was a bad player, it was just that he was a bad player for Tottenham. Wilfried Zaha was signed in 2013 by Sir Alex Ferguson for £10 million from Crystal Palace. I think in Zaha, Ferguson saw a young Cristiano Ronaldo or Ryan Giggs type player. However, both of them are legends and have very big boots to fill. Maybe even Ferguson wanted to see if he could still win it with kids, as he did when he introduced the likes of Scholes, Neville, Giggs and Beckham into the Manchester United starting lineup. The problem was, Zaha was still a work in progress. He struggled to be consistent and to make an impact. He started and ended up winning the Community Shield, but after that his United career fell off. After a 13-match loan spell with Cardiff City, he returned to Selhurst Park, where he's regained some form with maturity and development. Maybe there will be another big move for Zaha in the future, but for now it seems it will be Rashford or Lingard that will attempt to fill Giggs or Ronaldo's boots. So that was our list of players that didn't quite live up to the hype. Which player do you think should have made our list, and which player do you think would have developed even better if they'd just been at another team? Remember, Kevin De Bruyne was at Chelsea for a while. Let us know your thoughts in the comment. I've been Antoine, thanks for watching.